Hello, 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 ladies. I see y'all in the chat. Yay, we have a crew here already. I love it. What's up? I'm going to take y'all into my kitchen with me in a moment. I'm not cooking. I just actually finished eating. Hopefully. I don't have anything in my teeth. But I do need to pour my magnesium and pour a new thing of water so I can stay hydrated on here. Oh, we got ladies hitting their step goals. I love it. We're still working on it. That's cool. If you are walking around, watching, tuning in while you're walking, I love it. First, I just want to thank everybody. Thank you for your well wishes while I recovered from whatever this upper respiratory thing was going on. I still have a little bit of a little low in the nose, a little congestion, but we're on the other side of it now. So here we go. Come on with me over here. Here's the city view. I know y'all love this as much as I do. It's a rainy night here in Northern Virginia, which apparently I just learned is called Nova. It's a little thing that they call it. All right, so here's what we're doing here. Get all of Bronson's coffee mugs out of the way here. All right, so I fill this guy up a bunch of times a day. Poor little Equip logo. It's been well loved. So my nighttime routine, usually I keep this guy full of electrolytes. Well, we had a rookie move this week and we ran out of all of our electrolytes. Our LMNT, our Relight. Literally, Bronson ordered some Relight. He sent it to the wrong person in Rockville, Maryland. So he literally drove there today in the rain to pick it up from her. And now we have our 4 or so things of Relight. And I haven't even opened them yet. I have been using these guys, for those of you who are familiar with Noon or None, however you pronounce that, hydration. They're not cutting it, y'all. The electrolytes on these things are not nearly as good as Relight and LMNT, and they're made with dextrose. This one's an immunity one, so it has some like B vitamins and vitamin C and vitamin D and other stuff in it. So I figure I'd give it a try. At least this tastes a little better. This strawberry lemonade one is the regular sports hydration one, which this has a little more electrolytes. This one doesn't have much of anything. But it was something in the meantime. So I'm so happy that he finally got these that I was like, I need to break this thing open and go ahead and correct the situation. So I'm putting, normally I fill this whole thing and I put a couple of scoops of Relight in here. But for now, I'm just going to put like half a scoop in this guy. And then my magnesium. So I use the Natural Calm. This is my magnesium of choice. This one is unflavored, and this one is cherry. I love the cherry and I love the watermelon. So we'll go with a little cherry and we'll mix it with the mixed berry of the Relight. So all will be right in the world again. So I do this every night. I do my Calm, and then I do L-glutamine. I start my day with L-glutamine and creatine in the morning, and I end my day with L-glutamine and magnesium. And I do about 2 teaspoons, which should be about 10 grams. So 10 grams in the morning, 10 grams at night. And for a little while there, I was doing 10 grams like pre, intra, post workout with my workout water bottle. So up to 30 grams a day to help with muscle recovery. And it's great for gut health. So, hey, here you go. You got a little introduction to my supplement, some of my supplement protocol. Didn't even know that I would be talking about that tonight. Look at that. There are no such things as coincidences. So clearly that was for somebody. Don't know who, but it was for somebody. And while we're talking about supplements, I'm sitting here looking at all the things I've been taking while I'm sick. And I was thinking about sharing that with y'all. So here we go. Perfect place to do it, right? Okay. All right, Thanksgiving time. Everybody's getting sick, literally all of y'all. I'm hearing about it all the time. So, in case you want to know what I do when I'm sick, now I'm a natural girl, so I like to go as natural as I can on things. But if I absolutely am suffering, I still go the traditional route if I just need to deal with the symptoms. So my best friend this last week has been the Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold and Flu. It's kind of like a Theraflu. It actually is exactly like a Theraflu. It has like acetaminophen, the nasal decongestant, and the cough suppressant for the nighttime one. And then the daytime one has the expectorant, which is what I really like to get rid of mucus. And so I'll buy like the individual, just no brand mucus relief. It's the same thing as what is it called? The really high dose one is Mucinex. So it's like that. In case y'all didn't know, every single thing in the cold and flu section, whether it's labeled for cold, flu, allergies sometimes usually have like an antihistamine in them. But the cold and flu stuff, whether it's labeled cold, labeled flu, some are labeled sinus, max, it's all the exact same ingredients, y'all. It's all the exact same thing. It's usually acetaminophen, something for a decongestant, something for an expectorant, and something for a cough suppressant in all different mixes. So you just have to look at the amounts, and I always go with the generic in that case. I couldn't find, actually, this was at my local CVS down the street where I could walk to. So I actually couldn't find this one in the CVS brand. I would have bought the CVS brand, but that's what I've been up to. Hey, babe, I'm showing them my sickness protocol.
Sickness protocol?
Yes. So, this is not natural, but it sure did knock out the headaches and make the body aches go away, and it definitely helped get things out. So, take it or leave it, right? Take it for what it is. Well, that in particular was sickness protocol. It's like when I'm sick.
No, it's supposed to get you well.
Well, here's the things that will get me well. This is the real natural stuff. Okay, so this is all the things I ordered from my supplement dispensary. Say hi. I get neck kisses. Okay, let's see. Is this everything? I think this is everything. All right. So, a few basics. Oh, you can't even see them. Look at all that. This is all the stuff. Except for this one. Everything else is what I got. I ordered these stats from my supplement dispensary. For those who work with me, I have a supplement dispensary that is not public. It's only for clients and members of my group programs. So if you're in there, if you're in the build, you have seen it there. Somebody drop a comment because the comments stopped, and I just want to make sure that this is working. It says I'm live. The ticker's still going. Oh, Deb said hi. Yay!
I didn't know you were live. Hi.
Look at that.
What's up, y'all?
He came and gave me a kiss, not for y'all, just to show off, but for reals. He didn't even know you were here.
Recording. Well, I mean, you are recording.
I am recording. Okay, everybody's saying hi. Yay.
Anybody I know?
A lot of people you know. You got Rhonda here. This is
Deb.
Karen. Bubbles
Yeah,
is
a
Karen.
couple of them. Hey, what's up, Purple? Bubbles.
That's Debbie.
Rhonda.
Purple is Debbie. Blaze, Deb. The other Deb. I got all the Debs on tonight.
Juju B. I wonder who that is.
Our neighbor. I love it.
Our neighbor.
Our neighbor. Jujubee.
She our neighbor? Really?
Juliana.
Wait, how far away does she live now?
Just like 40 minutes.
Oh, snap.
How many minutes away from us are you, Juliana?
And she hasn't come to visit yet?
Not yet, but she needs to bring us her homemade smoked bacon.
She should set up a meetup.
Oh.
Who wants to do a meetup?
Wait,
in
what
Virginia?
did I mention? Oh, I posted the other day about my paleo potluck I did 10 years ago. And Juliana actually was like, hey, request for another one for the antithetic crowd.
Let's do it.
So, and then I got another request. So I said, we should probably just
We could do it upstairs.
organize a meetup upstairs on our rooftop. So, yeah.
If you're in the Washington, D.C., Maryland,
she said,
Baltimore,
I told her
Virginia.
to.
Yep. Reston, Virginia, beginning of the year.
And we were 40 minutes from Karen, but now we're farther away from her, apparently.
We're doing that.
So, okay, that's going to happen now. You know, you tell me it might happen. You tell him it will happen. So if you want something to happen, tell Bronson directly and it's going to happen. So now that he's aware, it will absolutely happen.
Yeah.
And yes, Rhonda, we can talk about recomp. Tell me what you want to hear about recomp. We can absolutely talk about that. I also have some questions that were asked last time when I wasn't able to show up. Hey, Mary Grace is on too. Woohoo! Gang's all here. So I got some questions in advance that I wrote down. And what I'm going to start doing for these is asking y'all to send me questions that you want me to answer on the lives, especially for those who may not be able to make it live. So I have some of those as well. But first, I'll quickly show you the supplements I've been taking to get well. So this one is not in my dispensary. This one they sent me to try before we moved, and I stuck it somewhere and we moved and then I lost it. And then I was doing all these specific protocols with my functional medicine doctor to work on specific things. So I didn't want to start testing it while I was already doing other protocols and getting blood tests for other things. It's called Cell Food. I need to read a lot more about it to really understand what it is so I can share that with you all. But this one, the brand asked me to give it a try. So I decided to throw it in here with everything else because maybe it'll help me get well faster. But I'm going to not make a decision on this until I've used it for about 30 days. And after I've used it after I've gotten well to see if it does what it claims to do. So I'll keep you all posted on that one. Now, this was one my functional doctor actually recommended that I get to keep on hand. So I did that a while back, and it's Echinacea Golden Seal Propolis Throat Spray. It's from Gaia Herbs. It's a really great brand. They are in my dispensary. So this is a throat spray. So I've been using this kind of intermittently. This guy I got a long time ago at Sprouts that I also keep on hand. It's very, very strong. You just put a dropper in your mouth and it basically opens up all your sinuses. It's crazy. It's got a blend of horseradish root, and I'll tell you, horseradish root, it's like going up your nostrils when you take this. Echinacea, some things I can't pronounce. Elderberry, garlic, cayenne fruit, peppermint oil, olive leaf. I was just chatting with somebody about olive leaf the other day, so I'll have to tell her I actually do have some. Licorice root, golden seal, wild cherry bark, osha root, which I have done for years whenever getting sick. Some of these things are like really well, perfect for when you're not well. Yarrow herb, so a bunch of different stuff in it. Sinus blaster. I use this very sparingly. But like if you're really blocked up, this is a good one because it just opens everything up. Now, my tonic I've been doing in the morning has been a combo of these guys. These 4. Immunoberry. This is another one my functional doctor recommended that I keep on hand. This is a bunch of berries: elderberry, astragalus, shiitake mushroom, maitake mushroom, wild cherry. So it's a tincture with a little dropper. So in the morning, I've been taking my little shot glass, Bronson's shot glass, can you tell? And I'll put a dropper or 2 of this in there. I'll put a dropper of this guy, Liver Health. I just decided to get that since I figured I'd be taking this other stuff that's going to be cleansing my system, and to give my liver some support for that process. Dandelion root, Oregon grapefruit, artichoke leaf, milk thistle, schisandra berry, and fennel seed. So just taking that to help my liver along. Side note, you don't have to cleanse your liver. Your liver does the cleansing, but there are herbs like the ones in this that can help support your liver in the job that it's trying to do. So liver cleanses are not really like, don't believe the hype on that stuff. Extra D3 and K2. So I've been doing about 5 to 10 drops in here, which is 2 drops is 1,000 IU. So I've been doing anywhere up to 5,000 IU. I also take vitamin D with K2 in my multi every day. So that was just a little added. Trace mineral drops. I had not been taking this for a long time, and I decided it was time. Let's start getting those trace minerals. So Concentrace is the brand. And this guy's got more of the ones you don't hear about, right? So we hear about our macro minerals, but we don't always hear about our micros. So this has, it has our magnesium, but it also has a tiny bit of sodium, like 5 milligrams, and chloride and potassium. But then it also has sulfate, lithium, and boron. So those little 4 have been my morning shot. And then this guy, just to help with inflammation, Inflammatone, supports a healthy inflammatory response. This has a proprietary blend of proteases, trypsin, turmeric extract, boswellia extract, ginger extract, quercetin, rutin, rosemary extract, and transresveratrol. I also have quercetin and transresveratrol in my multivitamin, multimineral as well. So this is not my full supplement protocol, but this is what I've been doing just since being sick. And I am happy to report that it really only took me down for a few days in terms of like really just not feeling well, not feeling like being up and about. And then it was really just more of congestion hanging around. So let's go back to my desk here. We can talk about some other topics. Oh, hold on. Let me put the light back on here. There we go. All right. So that was a little impromptu, but happy to report it didn't last long. We're talking like a week. It was like Monday to Monday. But I'd probably say by Sunday, I was feeling a lot better and got back to the gym yesterday. So it didn't even take me down for a full week, which now in my history, before I got healthy, before I changed my lifestyle, I would have chronic, really bad sinus infections every time I got a cold. If I got a cold, it turned into a sinus infection and it would last weeks upon weeks, and it would be nasty. I would be down, like feeling like the flu, like can't get out of bed. And the pain would be really bad, and it would just take a long time to get rid of it. When I first cleaned up my diet, went paleo, I would have a whole year without a sinus infection. And this felt like it was trying to get into my sinuses and create more trouble. And I just, as soon as I felt it, that's it. out of the gym, no training, and this is what I tell you all the time. We cannot be like, oh, I'm sick, but I'm going to go get my workout in anyway because I'm disciplined. Like, no, your body does not want that right now. You need to rest. So rest when you need to rest, train when you have it. And when you are sick is not when you have it. Your body cannot try to heal you and break you down at the same time. When you go to the gym, it is a stressor. You are breaking your body down. You're literally breaking the tissues apart of your muscles so they can then be repaired. So if you are already on high immune alert because you are ill, it is not the time to try to train through it. So I got out of the gym, I laid my butt down, I hydrated a lot, I continued to be on point. I was even cleaner on my nutrition when I was sick than I was when I was well. It is not the time to dive into comfort foods. I went on a little tirade about this on my check-in video for my response video for the build. So they already heard that mouthful. But if you are craving comfort foods, that is the programming you were taught as a child. You do not need saltines because you are sick. You do not need chicken noodle soup because you are sick. Make chicken soup without the noodles. That's what I did. I had fresh carrots and I had chicken broth in my pantry and I had chicken. So I just made soup with chicken and carrots and broth. And it was what I needed. So okay, enough about illness. Let's get on to wellness. All right, so Rhonda wants to talk about body recomp. Let's see. I just don't think the stat type scale measures accurately, or mine doesn't. Too much of a change in inches versus weight, and I don't think that the fat muscle loss correlates with the inches bone density up. Okay, cool. Great thing to talk about because, oh, Rhonda, you were the topic of discussion today. Because what's crazy is we had this chat the other day. Rhonda she's been with me for 3 months now, and her results in the pictures and the way she's feeling and the way her clothes are fitting and her strength and improvements in her training, like it is just bonkers. Like it's amazing. And she's lost body fat. It's very, very clear. It's also clear. It seems to me, and it seems by every account that she's gotten serious recomp. Y'all should see her pictures, like seriously. Rhonda, you need to like put a before and after together to share more publicly than with me because wow. But I say all this because I know Rhonda is over there perplexed because she's like, it's like 7 pounds on the scale, right? It's not a lot of weight lost. And even her body fat percentage is only down a few, maybe a couple percentage points. It's not showing that she's gained muscle in addition to losing the body fat. But her pictures tell a different story. And I'm so glad you brought this here, Rhonda, because literally today I spoke with another client who's in the exact same boat. She's been with me for 6 months. We just did her graduation call today, and she's renewing, so she's sticking around. Same boat and very similar numbers to you. So she is very similar in height. I think only 1 inch difference in height. Very different in age, but very similar in terms of lean mass, body fat percentage, and weight on the scale. You two are maybe within 10 pounds of each other. So I was like, this is fascinating. She's been with me 6 months. She's lost 12 pounds. She's had a major, if you look at the pictures, major changes, like clear recomp. But the numbers with her, whatever scale she's using, and I don't know if she uses the same one you do, but in general, what this has been telling me is that these bioelectrical impedance scales, which is what we have to work with, right? Our bathroom scales. I don't think that they're showing properly for women of your build, you and her. You have a lot of lean mass for your size. and you still have body fat to lose, but it barely budges the percentage of body fat, and it's not showing lean mass increase. And I think it's not giving you credit for the muscle. I do think that you've both gained muscle in addition to losing body fat, and I don't think it's reflecting on those scales. That is my hypothesis. I can't prove it, but that is my hypothesis. I would be interested if either of you got DEXA scans to see what DEXA would say, and how far off it would be from your scales. Now, if you didn't do a DEXA at the beginning and do one now, then you're not going to see changes, different sets of data points for changes. And at the end of the day, what matters is what you look like, how you feel. All those things that we've already reported have improved, right? When let's say, when I'm coaching somebody for stage, nobody cares what their body fat percentage is when they get on stage. The judges aren't asking for that information. They don't care about weight. They don't care about body fat. They just want to know what you look like. And so 2 different women on stage in the same category, bikini competitors, could be 2 totally different weights, totally different body fat percentages. It's really, but do you feel good is really the important thing. Do you feel good? Do you look good? Are your clothes fitting better? And you said it yourself. It's the measurements. It's the photos. And to all of my ladies who are early in your journey and you're not seeing the results, I hope this gives you hope, because Rhonda wasn't seeing it week 1 to week 2 to week 3. Same thing with my other client. And I had a conversation about the 2 of you with a 3rd client today who has only been with me for 3 to 4 weeks now. And her progress is slow. And guess what? Very similar numbers in terms of size, body fat, lean mass. She's shorter than you 2, but aside from that, body type, numbers wise, weight on the scale and the other things, very, very similar to you 2. And now I had a beautiful example I can show her and say, listen, I've got 2 ladies who are crushing it and making incredible progress, and it just doesn't show on their numbers. So I hope for those of you who are early in your journey, this gives you hope that you're not going to see it in the first 3 to 4 weeks. You've got to give it time. I told Rhonda, it's usually the 6 to 8 week mark where you start to really notice it. And then here we are at 3 months, and it is like, if you see these 2 pictures side by side, you're like, wow, you can really see it. So that, and then the other piece of the puzzle too, is that the other thing that all 3 of you have in common is that we are not going super low on carbs. I think at this point, we've probably brought your carbs lower, Rhonda, but we started out with higher carbs. Same thing with the other 2 clients. We started out with higher carbs. And there's still the other one that was 6 months, her carbs are at 50. So, and then the new lady, we're starting even higher than that because she's starting from a different place than a keto place. So here's the other thing. If you were all to go pure carnivore, you'd probably lose fat faster. Let's be real. But at the end of the day, it is not about how do I just do this as fast as I can. And this is why, y'all hear me on my soapbox all the time. It's not about how fast you get it off, is how long you're going to keep it. So I always like to say, well, how long do you want to keep the results? Because if we go fast, you're less likely to keep them. And some women absolutely adore the carnivore lifestyle. Others do not. And I mean, everybody where you are. So if carnivore is not for you and you're like, oh my God, how am I ever going to make this happen without having to go lose, 0 carb? You can do it. It's just absolutely, it may be slower. The progress may be slower. If you're not in ketosis, if you're not keto macros, if you're not carnivore macros. So it's everything, like I say, everything is always a trade-off. We always have to decide, what am I more likely to stick to? Because if I'm going to stick to it, I'm going to get results. If I'm not going to stick to it, I'm just not going to get results at all. So some people, think they have to go keto or carnivore, and they can only maintain that for 7 days. That was another chat with a different client earlier this week. Only sticking to it for 7 days. Well, maybe we need to find a different set of macros for you that you could actually stick to for 7 days, and then 14, and then 21, and then 28. So we always have to take everything into account. What am I going to do? What am I going to be happy with? What is going to make my life feel good and make me feel good while I can still make progress? And also for everyone who is making slow progress, slow is a very subjective term. So boy, is it better to lose 12 pounds in 6 months or 7 pounds in 3 months than to gain 10 pounds in 6 months, which you likely would have done otherwise, right? Or even just maintaining. For a lot of us, here we are in the holidays, maintaining through the holidays and going into January without putting on weight would be a major win. So sometimes we just have to reset our expectations and our perspective on things. Oh, we got some good chat going on over here. Let's see. Feel good and look better naked too. Yes. I think that's dead on. It was about 6 weeks when I really started noticing the changes. Yep. That's the magic timeline, in my opinion. I agree. I'm just starting to see some change. Yeah, for all my ladies in the build, I'm getting ready to do your feedback video. You'll get it in the morning. But that was something a couple of y'all brought up in your weekly check-ins, and I wanted to remind the whole group that, hey, it's been 8 weeks now. So now is the time to go back and look at your very beginning pictures. So if you've been discouraged by the week-to-week progress, now's the time to go back a couple of months and say, all right, I've got some skin in the game now. And if I've been following things, now if you've been going off track every week, you're probably still not going to see much of a change. But if you've been following the plan, now's the time to go back and say, all right, let's see if the photos show me something different. Because the reason we take progress pictures weekly is not to see changes weekly. The only clients I see changes with weekly are competition prep clients who are very lean already. And now you start to see every little change very, very quickly. Most clients, lifestyle clients, you're not going to see changes week to week. We take the photos week to week so that number one, we establish the habit and we don't let ourselves off the hook for taking the pictures. And y'all know you're much less likely to cheat or do something you won't be proud of if you know you got to take pictures every single week. So that's part of it. But also it's so that later on we can compare any point of time we want to any other point of time we want. We don't have to say, I only have a picture from a month ago, or I only have a picture from 3 months ago. Yes, who is that? Brewing Better Living. Who is that? I can't tell from your itty bitty photo. She got a holy crap moment. I love it. OMG, we got Juliana's coming into Wonderland, baby. You're so close. Let's go. I had another client this week just hit right before it was like last check-in last weekend, 198. First time. Here we go. I love it. I look back at my original photos. I need to look at my check-in ones too. Yep, start to make those comparisons. Oh, it's Erin. Yay. Okay, awesome. Hey, Erin. Name change. Brewing, is that for coffee? Brewing Better Living. I love it because I know you're a coffee lover like me. All right. Anybody else live have questions or topics you want to chat about? Yes, coffee wellness theme. I love it. That is so you. Coffee, the coffee talk. I thought of you when I was thinking of the Real Talk Tuesdays today. I was going to say Real Talk. Okay, let's see. Oh, the Christmas coffee mugs are coming out. Yes, we'll have to do that. I'll start. I'll have to. You know what? I don't know if I have any Christmas ones here with me, but I'm going home to visit my family this weekend. So for Thanksgiving. So I may have to bring back some Christmas coffee mugs. What's your best advice to deal with the early darkness? Meaning getting dark earlier at night, I imagine. It got super dark early today because it was raining. So it's been dark since like 4 p.m. around here. Okay, so well, there's the mental side of it, and then there's the physiological side of it, right? So for one, with the physiological side, I would say lean in with early darkness. I was just having this chat with a client the other day about the holidays being such a great time it's getting colder, it's getting dark at night, to curl up at the end of the evening with a hot tea or a protein hot coffee, a hot chocolate, or an LMNT hot chocolate. And once I put my Christmas tree up, sit by the Christmas tree. Or for me, I love looking out. I'm blessed to live where I live because I love the city lights at night. It just gives me a feeling of joy. So for me, like sitting on my couch and staring out at the lights, the city lights is very therapeutic. If that's not you, but you have maybe Christmas lights in your household, or you could light a candle. I would go for like a soy one, not one that's going to put out a lot of junk chemicals, the artificially fragranced ones and all that crap. Maybe a good tallow candle. And sit, and that would be a great journaling time. And this ties in with another topic, which was actually one of the questions that came up when I called for questions a while back, and it was mindset strategies, favorite journal approach or other activities to help with mindset. So journaling came up a lot this week. If y'all saw in the Facebook group and in the build, I posted, I don't know if I posted it in the build, I posted it in the Facebook group about journaling. And it was a great video from Instagram, I think, from a podcast called I forget the name of it now, but it's in the Facebook group. It was about math. It was making an analogy of math. Like if I asked you 4 plus 3, you would say 7. But if I asked you 4,972 or plus, more complex numbers, you wouldn't just sit there and do that math in your head unless maybe you're a genius, right? So journaling is getting the stuff out of your head. Juliana made a really powerful post about doing that the other night after she saw that. So I love the idea of sitting down at night with the dim lights and leaning into it for circadian rhythm. Like it is great to not have bright lights on and like this ring light I have here and the blue lights of the screens and all that, and just sit in the quiet, in the dark, maybe candlelight or faux candles, the electric candles, or red lights, or something that will really kind of calm your system, and have a little journaling practice at night. Reflect over the day, reflect over the week, make plans, or even just get all of the to-do list stuff out of your head, right? I think that's part of what Juliana was talking about, like doing a brain dump. In terms of my favorite journaling practice strategies, I don't have strategies for journaling. I let it be whatever it needs to be, whatever my subconscious wants in that moment. The most important thing you can do with any of these practices, meditation, journaling, breath work, it's not about the protocol. It's about being present with yourself in silence or quiet. You can have some music playing, something that soothes you, and just having that time with yourself. Self-connection is the answer to it all. We have all the answers within us. And like for me, I brought out my journal the other day after Bronson shared that video with me. And I just sat on my balcony. It was a sunny morning. And even when it's cold out in the morning, the sun just hits the balcony and it like feels warm on my face. And I had my little devotional there, and I always read my devotional. But it's not about like, I'm not like, oh, I have to read my devotional and then I have to write something about the scripture. Like, I don't do anything like prescribed. It was just let me be with my thoughts and whatever comes up. And you know what happens when you do that? You start to get messages from everywhere. And it tends to be the same message from different messengers. There was something Bronson had said that morning that I kind of blew off at the time. And then when I sat out there, I got that message again from the devotional. I got that message again from a random Instagram post that a coach friend of mine posted. And then it was like, huh. And then I turned on this was Sunday. So I turned on I like to watch, for those of you who are into like Christian sermons, Elevation Church Live. I love Pastor Stephen Furtick. So I will put him on Sundays and listen to the live broadcast. And there was at that time I turned it on, there was one particular thing he said that also connected with these other messages that were all the same message coming at me from a million different places. And I was like, wow, that's the answer to all the stress I've had inside. Those are the kinds of things, it's like, I don't believe in coincidence. Those are the kinds of things that when you open yourself up to the messages, they come from everywhere. And that's all journaling really is. That's all reflection and meditation and all these other things really are. They just give you time with you. And when you're quiet and when you stop moving and sit down somewhere and shut your mouth, you receive. You put yourself in receiving mode. And a lot of the time you can't get into receiving mode because you're thinking too much. So yeah, when Juliana says I just like the brain dumping my thoughts, it gets it out. It gets it out of your head. And now you can actually clear your mind and have a moment of clarity and maybe receive some answers to something or something you needed to hear. Yeah, Deb said, I don't know how to sit. Yeah, that was me. My entire life, that was me. And I'll tell you where it got me. It got me depressed. It got me burned out. It got me exhausted, adrenally fatigued, and in the middle of a bulimia relapse. And you know why I kept binging and purging? Because I couldn't sit with myself. So for my ladies who struggle with food, food is taking up space for you so you don't have to be still. And guess what the answer is? Being still. Yep, she just gave me the face palm. That was your mind blown moment for the night. Really powerful book. It's on my list. And some of y'all have been asking me for you inspired an idea. You've been asking me for like a gift list idea that you can give your family members to tell them what you want for Christmas. So I am putting together a Natalie's favorite things, like a Oprah style of here's all the things I would put on my wish list or I would recommend putting on your Christmas list. So I will share that list with you all. I'm also going to put together, along with that, an entire list of all of my affiliate codes for all the Black Friday deals and stuff. I'm going to try to get that together tomorrow. So I'm going to try to get it out before Thanksgiving. If not, I will at least get it out for Black Friday. And then the gift list, I'll probably continue to add to that throughout the season and just keep sharing that. But one of the things I would highly recommend, I've recommended this book a lot before and I'll keep doing it. It was a huge part of my healing. And I worked with a community that specifically did this work. I did it deep work. I went on retreats. And this is one of the books we read, or at least we pulled all these. I think I have the physical book, or I may have gotten the Audible. Anyway, it is called The 5 Personality Patterns. And it talks about what patterns you go into when you're in trauma. That you learned to go into these patterns as a child before you even developed conscious awareness, like before 5 years old, before 7 years old. You established these patterns to keep you safe as a child, and you don't need them to keep you safe anymore, but it's what we still go to when we experience any kind of trauma. And trauma is not just big, massive things, but anything that can be triggering our emotions can send us into pattern. So, Deb, I would suspect you have a pattern just like mine. I think it was called the merging. It was the merging, the leaving, the dang it, I'm going to forget the name of it because it never sounds right. It doesn't sound like it fits with it. But it's basically you want to stay moving. You want to stay moving all the time. You want to stay busy all the time. And so when you can just be putting food in your mouth, it gives you something to do. So you don't have to sit and process and be with your emotions. This is why I always tell you all the only way out is through. And until you learn to sit and be with the feelings, whatever they are, whatever's coming up with you, it's discomfort, and it is resistance to that discomfort that is causing you to go to these familiar things and be in that pattern. So highly recommend reading that book. I think it would be very helpful for you. Do you ever get nauseous between sets of strength training? No, I have never in my entire 8 years of bodybuilding ever had that happen. I've heard of like, I could see that, and I've heard of that maybe in like CrossFit or intense training kind of things that have a lot of endurance, maybe mixed with weight training, but strength training itself, I think that's kind of highly unlikely. Maybe for power lifters doing like intense amounts of training. Is that happening for you? Does that happen frequently for you? Is that something that you've noticed? The only time I've ever experienced anything like that is just this past week when I was sick and I wasn't training, but I just started noticing I had food coming back up after meals. It didn't come all the way back up. It wasn't like a stomach bug, but that's the first time I felt that experience at all since I used to have chronic acid reflux. So there could be a different reason for that, is what I'm suggesting. Oh, okay. What are your feelings on red light? I don't have the actual red lights per se, but I turn the smart bulbs red. It's relaxing, but do you think there are any other benefits? I'm not sure what you mean. So the smart bulbs, they have like different settings, I imagine. Tell me more about that. Not being dehydrated enough. I think it's from not being dehydrated enough, or do you mean not being hydrated enough? Could be too, if you're training close to a meal and you're not digested, you could be messing with digestion because once again, your body's sending blood to your muscles during training, not to digestion. So that could be a thing. Okay, so the smart bulbs, you can change the color to any color you want. I'm not sure. I would look that up. I don't know if they would have like red light benefits from turning them red. I would see what they actually have to say about it. Did they mention any kind of specific benefits? Let's see if there's any other questions I missed here, and then I'll go to my other list. Ooh, I need to put a Christmas coffee cup in my shop. Yes, I will totally do that. And I will be updating the Keto Bikini shop with some new merchandise for holidays. So I will definitely put a mug on there. I love mugs. Ooh, and then I can order that one, and that'll be my Christmas mug. Thanks, Blaze. I love that idea. Okay, let's see. I had some really interesting other questions come up. So I want to make sure I get to these. And this time I'm not clicking off this screen on my computer because last time I did that, I got all jumbled. So we're not going to do that this time. I will pull it up here. Real Talk Tuesdays. Topics. Okay. Somebody would like to hear my thoughts on intuitive eating. If one is staying at a stable weight for several years, if one is tracking for many years with ideal low carb, high fat, um, I don't really understand the second part of this question, so I'll just address the intuitive eating. Yeah, I would say here's the thing. If you are not trying to hit a very specific physique goal, um, or maybe a performance goal in the gym, intuitive eating is the way to do it. Really, it's the way of life. My goal for everyone always is not to have to track for the rest of your life. I don't teach you to track so that you will now just do it forever. I teach you to track so that you'll learn, right? So tracking should not be an arbitrary sport. It should not be plugging things in and seeing where seeing where the whole day falls. It should be, while you're tracking, learn what an amount looks like, so that later on you can transition out of tracking and still hit your macros without really thinking about it. So intuitive eating, it takes all of that out of it, and it's okay. Let me take a step back, because this is Real Talk Tuesdays, right? Here's the thing. For most people, and probably not the person who asked this question, because she sounds like she's been on point with her low carb diet for a long time. So for that person, that was her question, was for that person, what are my thoughts on intuitive eating? I think it's fantastic. That is my goal for all of you, to get to a point where you are choosing nutritious, nutrient-dense foods, majority, maybe having some less than ideal nutrient poor foods in there just for fun, but they're not the majority of what you're consuming. You're consuming real food meals. You've learned how to eat enough protein to support your body in maintaining muscle as you age and bone density and all of that. And you don't have a poor relationship with food, and you're not binging every other day. And that person, I think that's the goal. Intuitive eating is amazing. After you've been eating clean for a long time, you can trust your body's signals. You can trust your body to tell you when it's hungry, when it's full, when it wants something specific. I just gave this example the other day when I got sick. I had been enjoying some fun foods in there because I can. They fit my macros. I'm maintaining. I'm in a building phase. It's all working out. Until it wasn't, and I got sick. And I'll tell you what, I really think I got sick because I was enjoying a little too much fun foods on a regular basis. They were not replacing my whole real food nutritious meals, but they started to get pretty consistent that I was having something fun, low nutrient every day. And I think that lowered my immune system. It made me less optimal, and then that allowed me to get sick. That is just the way I think about it. So that being said, as soon as I got sick, guess what I didn't want anymore? I had zero taste for any of the treats. No interest in it. The fact that I still had a taste for coffee told me I wasn't that sick, because when I get really, really sick, I don't even want coffee. So I still enjoyed my coffee, but I was pouring out about half of it every day, which is very rare for me. I can trust my body because I've been feeding her so well for so long. She's honest with me. She told me she wanted to be hydrated. She told me she wanted chicken soup. She told me she wanted fruit. I was doing a lot of citrus fruits, a lot of oranges and grapefruits, all nutrient-dense foods. I didn't lose my taste for meat. I didn't lose my taste for eggs. And that is not, you cannot do that if you haven't yet learned what your body really wants. So intuitive eating from a standard American diet or intuitive eating from binge eating is not going to happen. There needs to be a process. And so I think macro tracking and learning about nutrient dense foods, and then shifting your habits and your choices consistently and feeding your body what nourishes it for a period of time. It sounds like she's been doing that for years. That puts you in a good position to be able to do intuitive eating. But if you have a poor relationship with food and you're having a lot of cravings, good luck eating intuitively. It ain't gonna happen. And on the other side of it, if you are not happy with where you're at, right? If you've been maintaining for years, but you don't want to be where you're maintaining at too high of a body fat, or you want to put on muscle, you have a specific goal for your body, intuitive eating ain't going to cut it there either. And I talked about that, I think, in one of my what it really takes to get results masterclasses. So that's my thoughts on intuitive eating. Let's see, we got some more in the chat. Do you ever find that you can't lift the same weight that you may have lifted the week before? You're weaker. Yes. Yes, this is a very common thing, and I say it all the time to a lot of you. Okay, there's a woman thing about it. There's a cycle with our hormones, even if you're not cycling. So in whatever stage, peri, pre, or postmenopause, we still have hormone fluctuations, day to day, week to week, not like men. So everything isn't going to be the same for us all the time. There are going to be times when we don't feel as strong. But barring that, men have this issue too with you're not always going to be stronger every single time you work out because we have life going on. We don't live in a vacuum. So your sleep quality, your sleep quantity, your stress level, emotional and physical, the last time you trained, how much you ate that day, how hydrated you are, all of these things are going to impact your strength. So absolutely, I have days where I cannot lift as much. And I have some weeks and some days within the week, I kill it, and then others I don't. So absolutely, that's going to happen. It's not a concern unless you start to see that every single week you're declining in strength. So if you're starting to see it as a trend where you're not getting any stronger and you're not able to do what you were doing before, now you're starting to see a pattern, then it's time to raise a red flag, and that's a concern for us to look at. But absolutely, it will happen here and there for sure. Yeah, Blaze mentioned red light. Some of the benefits of red light at night. Yeah, absolutely. Can help reset your circadian rhythm by blocking the blue light. You can help your body make melatonin. Yeah, blocking the blue light is the key here. So it doesn't necessarily have to be red light. There's a lot of different options out there. You can get blue light blocking glasses. You can shut off all the bright lights in your home. We usually go from the overhead lights to the lamps at night, which is more like a yellow light, very dim. So yeah, even if the red light, the smart bulbs, even if the red setting is not like exactly the same as having a red light therapy lamp, you're still going to get some benefits certainly from using that setting versus having it on the blue light setting, or like halogen lamps or like the bright fluorescent bulbs. What is this that you drank before your workout that made you nauseous, Juliana? Aulani? I don't even know what that is. Very interesting. Okay, the next question was about how we can work out at home and get tremendously strong with minimum equipment. So I love this question because a lot of y'all are going to be traveling throughout the holidays, right? Your body is your equipment. You can take this equipment with you everywhere you go. So there's never really a reason you can't work out. You may not be able to do a gym workout, Maybe your hotel doesn't have a gym, or you're staying at a friend's house, or you're staying with family and there's no gym equipment. No problem. Basic primal movements. You can do a primal squat, getting deep into that squat, working on your hip flexors. You can do dynamic stretching. You can do static stretching after you get warm. You can do yoga. You can do yoga poses, which are great for strength. You can do push-ups, incline push-ups, wall push-ups, some sort of push-ups. You can do dips on the floor or on the bed frame or on the table. If there's something to get under, you can even do rows, like underneath the table. There's a lot you can do with your body weight. So now, when you're talking about getting tremendously strong, is what she mentioned, tremendously strong with minimum equipment. If pure strength is your goal, you need load. You need to be able to increase the resistance significantly so that you are now lifting with more and more load. So that is going to be the challenge if you're at home with zero equipment, nothing you can lift that's heavy. Granted, we have lots of things in our households that we can lift if we don't have weights. So you can make, the key is what you need to build strength and what you need to build muscle is that you need to be training in a way that is progressively making you stronger, making you lift more, making you do more work so that you have to overcome and adapt, right? So you need a stimulus that is going to create that. You can do that with your body weight, but you'll have to get creative to find ways to increase the load without having weights around to do so. Resistance bands can be great for that. There's a lot you can do. There's a lot of different levels of bands you can use. And then you can increase the resistance just by choking up on the band and creating less space, to create more resistance. So there's a lot you can do with that. Even with body weight, there are ways to increase the resistance. Perfect example is push-ups. Let's say you start on the wall and you get strong enough, you can go to a lower incline and a lower incline until you're doing push-ups on the floor. Guess what? That's not it. Let's say you start you get so strong that you can do 25, 30 push-ups on the floor. Now put your feet up on something. Now you're doing decline push-ups. Now you're increasing the resistance because you're changing that angle. Eventually, you might be doing wall push-ups with your feet on the wall. So now you've gone from doing push-ups on the wall like this to having your hands on the floor and doing push-ups straight up and down. So there's always something you can do to be increasing that resistance. There is a masterclass I did on progressive overload. 12 different ways you can achieve progressive overload without necessarily increasing weight. Check that out. That is a good one. That is in the August training series, and it's posted in the group, in the Facebook group. All of my masterclasses are not yet public on YouTube. I'm dropping one at a time each week until eventually, it'll probably take like another year for me to make them all public. But if you're in the Facebook group, you can search there and you'll be able to find any of the topics that I've done in the last year and a half. So, and then she also wanted to hear my thoughts on straight up carnivore, no dairy, ghee or butter, okay. And then given how hard, I think this is the second question, given how hard it is to procure organ meats, do you think it's healthy, ideal? Does it work okay for your stomach, mental role, all that you need to do to stay alive, awake? Okay. What are my thoughts on carnivore with no dairy? I think it's fantastic. I did it myself for a year. By the way, butter is dairy. I just need to always say that because I think a lot of people don't include butter when they're talking about carnivore with no dairy. Butter is dairy. There's no other way to slice it. It's dairy. Ghee may be easier to handle because it doesn't have the milk fats. But it's oil from dairy. It's the oil. It's the pure oil from the butter. So ghee, you could maybe include that in there. Ultimately, My thoughts are, I think it's fantastic. It's the ultimate elimination diet. If you need to go that route, it's wonderful. Um, do I think that it is ideal? Like, do I think everybody should be carnivore forever? Depends on the person. I think if everybody was carnivore with no dairy, it probably would be very, very healthy for a lot of people. I think for other people, it may not be. They may be missing something. No two people are the same. I believe first and foremost in bio individuality, and that goes beyond just the physiologic. We have minds, we have thoughts, we have feelings, we have lifestyles, we have loved ones. We have a whole world around us that is 360. We can't just make decisions and say, like, okay, if let's say this is the optimal for health, the way to live is to only eat sardines for the rest of your life, which, by the way, I'm not going to ever tell anybody to do the sardine fast. But I felt amazing on carnivore with no dairy. And I think that if you're having issues, if you have medical issues you're trying to heal, insulin resistance, autoimmune, pretty much anything that causes a lot of inflammation in your body, it's fantastic to go carnivore with no dairy, at least for a period of time, to really try to heal your body and get all of the irritants out. But getting the irritants out or getting the stressors out is not the end of the story. I started to watch a video earlier with Judy Cho. Judy Cho from Nutrition with Judy has gone really far down the CIRS path, chronic inflammatory response syndrome. And she's been speaking about, she's been working primarily with carnivores for years now. That's what her practice focuses on. And she's talking about working with people who are very, very sick that carnivore did not fix in and of itself. And so it's not a cure-all. It can be like a miracle drug for a lot of people, but it doesn't, in and of itself, heal and cure everything. And so for some people, there's other paths they have to go down to really find healing beyond removing the triggers, removing the stressors and the irritants. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. And if somebody hates that lifestyle, then it's kind of like I think about like Michaela Peterson, right? Lion diet. She absolutely needs that lifestyle to live. If that's you, by all means, even if you don't like it, like if you're going to be in a hospital bed without it, absolutely do it. But if you have that option, and there's a lot of people who don't necessarily have to go that route and would be happier not going that route. And so in that case, I wouldn't say it's ideal for that person because we are whole human beings. So that's my take on that. Cool. I think that's all I had for pre-submitted questions. And we've been on for a little over an hour now, so I guess we can end it off there, unless anybody else has any burning questions. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. What do y'all have on your Thanksgiving menu? Y'all want to drop some stuff in the chat about what you're going to be serving? I'll just end off by saying that what I want for all of you is to no longer have the mental space being occupied with thoughts about food, stress about food, anxiety about food. I am flying, like I said, to visit my family for Thanksgiving. They always have a bunch of junk in their house. But I am not at all concerned. I have no worries. I'm not planning out my every move. I'm not, oh my God, what do I need to bring with me? I am sure that it'll all be fine. I'm sure that I will figure it out, because that's how secure and comfortable I feel with being able to make choices on the go, on the fly, wherever I am, I'm going to make it work. And that's what I want for you. More so than perfect macros or whatever else. It's about, do I have the confidence that no matter where I am, no matter what situation I'm in, no matter who I'm around, whatever temptations might be there, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be able to hit my protein target. I am going to be able to manage my fats and carbs so that I'm not over consuming. I can eat healthy. I can make healthy choices in the moment. And if I choose to eat an indulgence, whether it blows my macros or not, it doesn't have to become a binge. It's not going to send me off track for a week or multiple weeks. And I'm not going to beat myself up over it and stew over it and have it occupying my mind for the rest of the time that I'm there. I'll be with my family for a whole week. And you know what? They have grocery stores. And you know what else? I can borrow one of their cars and I can go grocery shopping and get my own stuff if I need to. It's fine. I'll be fine. It's all going to be okay. So that's the way I want you all to be able to feel. Solid, confident, I got this. Nothing's going to rock me. I wish that for you. So that's my Thanksgiving wish for you. And I will just end this off saying that I'm grateful for you all. I'm thankful for you. You are the thing I'm the most thankful for. Keep showing up for yourselves because you're worth it. And I love you all. And for Juju, she wants the gun show. I have no pump today. Here's a little pump. I got to get a little pump. I haven't even done my glute pump today. My right is still bigger than my left, y'all. See that? This one is the winner. I've got some catching up to do on this side. So we've talked about this many times, but guess what? You know how to fix it, right? When I do unilateral work, I got to work my left bicep before my right so I can start fixing that symmetry. I just realized how bad it was. Wow. Isn't that fascinating? Symmetry, baby. All right, ladies, signing off for the night. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. And for all my international folks, happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. You got over the hump. Tomorrow, you're getting over the hump. Today's Tuesday. Happy Transformation Tuesday. There we go. All right, eat some turkey. Get your protein in. Love on your loved ones. And I will see y'all in the communities. Bye.